make this work. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We'll just hang out for a little bit, get some people to show up. It's Sew Together Tuesday. I'm Teresa Coates. I'm the National Educator for Shannon Fabrics. We are going to hang out, hold on, and wait for some folks to come. So, thanks for coming. So I'm Teresa Coates. I'm the National Educator. And today is Sew Together Tuesday again. We are still at it, which is pretty exciting. And today we are back with our September sort of focus on basic skills with working with Cuddle Minky. So today we're talking about zippers, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get started, I want to remind you that we're going to be giving away a prize at the end. I haven't figured out what that prize is yet, but it's going to relate to cuddle and zippers and all sorts of stuff. So we'll send you a prize at the end, and then, but if you want to win, you're going to need to share the video. So we ask that you not only like the video and comment as much as you want today, but also share the video and share it with your sewing friends so that they can find out more about working with our fabric as well, okay? So let's get started. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'm here with Hawk, and he will read them out to me, and so we can answer all of your questions. We're tackling something different today, and like I said, we're back to basics for September, and one of those things that that never really gets talked about is sewing zippers into Cuddle, and it's kind of one of those things that people think, oh, can you actually do that? The truth is you actually can, and it's pretty darn easy. So I'm going to show you some strategies on it today. Some situations where you might do that. We did a zipper pouch a few weeks ago. You can totally do them not on the embroidery machine, but just on your regular sewing machine. You can do those with Cuddle, as well as like I've seen bomber jackets done, and particularly we're going to talk about pillows. So the bottom of a pillow. For me, one of the great things about Luxe Cuddle, which is and Cuddle in general, but Luxe Cuddles are the super fluffy fun stuff, but they're actually all machine washable. So if you make a pillow cover and you put a zipper in it, it makes it so that you can take it off your pillow form and wash it, which will make it last longer and look better. But the idea of putting a zipper into it seems a little bit scary, but I want to show you. So the sample that I made for you guys is this one, which is our llama Cuddle. Super cute little pillow. I love it. I love the llama. I think it's awesome. We have it in a few colors. This is the llama as well, which is like this bluebell and a navy, and we have a gray, and I can't remember what other colors. I think some others. I think there's a few of them. We can link to it. But anyway, it's super fun stuff. It's super soft. It's great for all sorts of things. But I actually put a zipper in this. And this is one of the harder cuddles to work with because it's a stretchy back and it's got this crazy stuff on it. But so here we go. Here's the zipper. You can see down here. Here's my little zipper in here. See if I can find the end of it. See if I can unzip it for you guys. It's definitely a matter of feel right now, especially because it's on the other side. Okay. Got to grab the zipper and not all the nap. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. Got some little extra fluffs in there. All right, so I just stuck a zipper right in there. Super duper easy. Well, easy might not be the exact word, but super duper doable, okay? Not difficult, but actually makes this pillow form now very, very usable in my way of thinking, because now I can wash it. So once this gets like sort of used and matted and looks a little dirty, I can throw it in the wash, fluff it up, make it look great, and now it's back. I can put it back on my pillow really easily. So putting a zipper in is great. Okay, we're going to talk more about pillows tomorrow at the fabric.com thing, but I want to show you how we do them here. Okay, and the inside pillow, I kept the plastic. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. Hold on. The pillow is this. This is a Fairfield product. It's called Feather Fill, and it is really good. I really, really like it. So this was my first time using it because I'm kind of picky with my pillow forms. And I want them to be soft and fluffy, but not lumpy and weird. So I've had a hard time finding the right one. So I got this one, and it's a mix of feather and down. And it's from Fairfield, and they were really good. I got a 2-pack. I want to say they were about $10 a piece. So they weren't terribly expensive, but it's a really good quality pillow. I really like the way that it feels. Okay, so there's the pillow. So let's talk about zippers. Okay, so now we know why we might do them. Now we can talk about zippers in general. So there are a bunch of different kinds of zippers. We're just going to use some all-purpose zippers, but I wanted to show you a couple of different varieties. So you all know the kind that you can get, like just in the package that you get from the store. Like they're usually like the little, you know, a file format of them. You can also get them this way where they're just loose. Okay, I've gotten them that way. This one is a decorative zipper, which you could totally use on the regular Cuddle, and honestly it'd be super cute. Here, I'm gonna lay it on the Cuddle here because this would be, you could see it, like it'll pop through, the color will pop through here, which would be super fun. So this you would actually sew on differently because you'd want to sew it along the edge here and along here to get that color to pop up, but there's a ton of different ones. And then this is the way that I generally buy my zippers, which is on a roll. So this is the very end of my roll, and it's a 5-yard roll, and it just comes with all of the zipper pulls on it. So you'll just measure it to how long you want. So if I wanted, you know, an 8-inch zipper, I would measure it out, I would cut it off and make sure that I have a zipper pull in that section. And then I would have the rest of the section to cut off into other parts. Okay, so zippers by the yard are super cool. I really like them a lot, and that's the way I tend to buy my zippers. So anyway, and then I don't always use all the pulls, but it's fine. But let's you do, especially if you're doing really large projects. So like if you were doing, one of the things you could do with this is cushion covers. So if you wanted to cover the cushions of a chair, but you want a zipper that goes all the way around, doing it by the yard is nice because then you just measure out how big that cushion is. Okay, all right. So any questions on those, just ask and I'm happy to answer. Okay, so I want to show you a few ways I did it, and then we're going to go over how we're actually going to do them. We're going to do 3 variations today, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, so this is one that would work for if you were doing it like for a little bomber jacket or a little hoodie, that sort of thing. You could absolutely make out of the Cuddle. All right, so this one I just did it so that it's an exposed zipper. Is what that is. Okay, my little extra bits of thread. I did all of this with black thread, and you can't really tell, but you can see it's black. Okay, so then then I did this kind where it meets in the middle. Okay, we'll unzip like this, which is another way that you could do a jacket. All right, hoodies are definitely done this way. And then this one I did with the Luxe Cuddle, which is weird because you can't really even see that it is, oops, yeah, that there's a zipper in there at all. So this is a great, like if you did this on the bottom of a pillow, it's totally going to work. Okay, there was something that I thought of and I was going to tell you, and then I forgot. So we have some extra tools today that we normally don't have. One is that I have green tape. I said blue tape. I never got the blue tape. I just have green tape. Wonder clips we're going to use a little bit of interfacing. So this is the SF101 that I like so much. It's the fusible that looks like it's just a woven, and then it has the fusible on the back. Okay, and then the other thing is the thing that changed my life with zippers. So if you are somebody who is like, I hate zippers, I'm going to tell you this will change your life. Okay, so this is, it's called Wonder Tape. It's from Dritz. Let me grab the package really fast. This is the big package I got that's like, it's the extra. It's 25 yards of this stuff. So you can get a smaller one that will just have the smaller roll in it. That's all the Cuddle dust stuck to it. But this product is amazing. So they have a washout version and a non-washout version. It doesn't really make any difference to me. I haven't had an issue with either one. This will make all the difference in putting your zippers in, and I'll show you how, okay? But this is the tool. Okay, so any questions yet? We're good? People just happy? Are they sharing? Are they liking?
There's lots of sharing happening.
Okay. Good. Oh, I know what it was. Is that one of the things that I think is important that you'll notice on here, something that I do that I have found makes it a lot easier to put in zippers, is to use a longer zipper, okay? We'll do that with all of it, and it's because it keeps the pull out of the way when you're sewing it. It's probably one of the biggest issues is that darn pull gets in the way and it kind of distorts things, and it's frustrating to work around with your foot. So use a longer zipper. Everything I did them longer. When I did the pillow, it's an 18-inch pillow. I put 16 inches. Sorry, I had to do a little math in my head. 16 inches of zipper in, but I used a 20-inch zipper. So I used a longer zipper, so I had to cut off each end. But that works better because you get to pull the zipper pull to the end. Okay, I'll show you. But that's a key. Okay. One of the things that you can do when you're trying to put a zipper in, because Cuddle has different directions, if you remember, one way will stretch and one way won't, right? So this is my lengthwise. It's not really stretching. This is my widthwise, and it totally stretches. Okay, so if I were putting a zipper into the bottom of a pillow, for instance, and I were having, if you were like, felt like you were struggling with it at all, what you can do is you can put this on it. When you're working with it lengthwise, it's not going to stretch and distort. It's fine. When it's this way, if you're having any trouble, it's not feeding through your machine very well, one of the things that you can do is take this fusible. I cut about a 1/2 inch wide of it and just put it about 1/4 inch from the edge and iron this down. Okay, I don't have my iron. I'm not going to do it right now, but I did do it on here. Show you on here. Okay, so on here I ironed it down, and then it's about 1/4 inch from this edge. So underneath here, you can't really see, but there's none here. It's just a little bit in here, so we'll hold that edge. So this makes it nice and stable. So if you're working with a fabric that is a little bit stretchy, and there's a bunch of this today that's going to kind of depend on which fabric you choose for it, because the fabrics work differently between them, and like the Luxe Cuddles work a little differently than the flat Cuddles. All the flat Cuddles are the same, but within the Luxe Cuddles, there's a lot of variety on how much they stretch or how much they move or how long the nap is, and all of that is going to affect a little bit about how you strategize putting a zipper in. So you'll need to think through that just a little bit, but I'll give you a bunch of strategies and then you can work it out. Okay, so that's one way to stabilize that edge. The other way is to serge it, and so this is a piece of Luxe Cuddle that I just serged the edge of. Okay, and you can see how that smashes down the nap really well, which can make it a little bit easier to deal with. Okay, so you can see I just made it's a nice wide serging line there. Okay, smashes it down. That'll make it a little bit easier for you if you're struggling with the nap being in the way. I didn't do it at all because I wanted to see how hard it would be to do it without the serging, because I know not everybody has a serger, and it wasn't that bad. So it really just took a little bit of extra like shoving and pushing things. But I've worked with Wonder Tape a lot, and so I understand how it works. So if you haven't worked with it very much, practice a little. Do some little things like this. Like honestly, these are really easy to do, and you could totally take these out and reuse the zippers, which I probably will do. Just FYI. Okay, because who needs to get rid of all of your zippers, really? I think I used 6 in the last day. So thankfully I had a bunch. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start and we're going to put it in as an exposed zipper, okay? Because it's really super easy, and that's the way you would do it if you were doing like a zipper pouch, all right? So I've got my zipper. I've got my piece of fabric. Let's see if I can find my nap. So my nap is running this direction. Oops, no, my nap is running this direction. Okay, and I'm going to put this in as if I were doing a little zipper pouch. Okay. Okay, so these are not the same size, and if I were doing a zipper pouch, I would definitely make sure my front and my back were the same size, but we're not doing that today. So I want them to go like this so that the nap will run down each side. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Wonder Tape on here, and I'm going to cut off just a little because it got loose so it's not as sticky right there. And I'm just going to put this down right along the edge of my zipper. Okay, so now I've got that on there, and I'm just going to do the other side at the same time so that both of them have it on there. And I do it longer, more than I need. So even just like the zipper is longer, this Wonder Tape is longer than the fabric. And I just do it so that I can have enough for sure and not have to go back and try to fix it. Okay, so once you've got the Wonder Tape on here, it's pretty cool stuff. So it's double-sided sticky. So when it comes off the roll, if I can find the end of it, where did it go? There it is. Okay. So when it comes off the roll, you can sort of see the little bits of the texture on there. Okay, that is, and all the fuzz stuck to my finger. That is the sticky part, okay? So it has a paper backing on it. So I'm going to push that back so that doesn't catch any of the stickiness from around here. So now I've got this all on here, and I'm just going to push this down really well. That's really an important part, because what's going to happen is I'm going to have to pull this up and you can see it kind of wants to pull up with the paper. Okay, so when that starts happening, I'm just going to grab my finger down here and I'm going to start to pull it. You can see the little shiny is the sticky part. Okay. All right. So now I want this part to be stuck to here, but I need it to be sewn the right direction. So I'm going to do this like this. So I really want this to kind of be in the middle. Okay, and I'm just lining this up right along the edge. So if you were going to use something like a Luxe Cuddle that you wanted to serge first, you would want to make sure that that serging didn't go past this. It wasn't any wider than the 1/4 inch Wonder Tape, okay? Because it would show. All right, so now what I can do, so I can come back over here. I pull this over. You can see it sticks to it. Okay, so it's just stuck there. If you've done zippers, you haven't done them like this, and you've just done them with pins, I tell you, I feel your pain. It's kind of the worst. It just distorts it really badly, so using the Wonder Tape works wonders. Okay, I'm going to open this guy up, and I'm going to use Wonder Clips. Different company, same name. And I'm going to clip these on here, so this can hold in place. So I'm still not going to use pins because the pins, I'll show you. I'll put one over here. Why I don't like to use pins, because if I use a pin, it's hard to get it through, and then it's going to like bend it all up. So now my edge is really difficult to actually get like straight because the pin doesn't want to actually work through it because the Cuddle is thick, the zipper tape is thick. I don't want to do it, okay? So we're just going to stick some more clips on there. Okay, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see that it's about even from that tooth. You could be more careful with it than I. But that's all I'm going to do, and then we're going to take this to the sewing machine and sew it on. And that's it, okay? So let me move things around just a little bit. We'll get you over here. So one of the things that I did different with this is I didn't use a zipper foot. So if you're used to using a zipper foot, when we worked with it on Cuddle, I don't use a zipper foot. It's more important to use the walking foot so that we can actually get it to drag through the machine a lot better. If you use a zipper foot, it's going to fight you because the zipper foot doesn't want to. So what I have found is that because the Cuddle is so thick, the teeth of the zipper will sort of smush into the fabric and slide underneath your foot just fine. And I tried it on both machines, on my Baby Lock and the Bernina, and both of them I did it with the walking foot and not a zipper foot, and it worked just fine. Okay, so believe me on that one. It's weird but true. Okay. So on this one, I switched it and I'm using my stitch in the ditch foot. Okay, so if you have one of those, that's what you want to use. I'm going to do it so that it's just going to go along the edge. My nap is running this direction and I'm going to sew this way. So I don't really care. If I were putting this in a jacket, for instance, if I were doing like a hoodie style thing, my nap would run this direction and I would want to sew that direction on both sides. Okay, we want to go with the nap if there is a nap, but this way the nap is going the other way, so we don't really care. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that guy off and I'm going to tuck this underneath the foot. Now I'm going to put my foot down, and now I can come over and I'm going to move, see which way I can get my needle to move. Let's see. I'm going to do it over just at 3. So I've moved my needle over to 3 millimeters over from the center line. So this is the stitch in the ditch foot. Normally the needle would come right down in front of it, so you could stitch right along here, which is great, except for what we want to do is do a little top stitching. And this is, honest to God, my favorite tool for top stitching is this foot. It's worth any investment you have to make. They're not generally cheap, so I think I paid like $50-some for it. But totally worthwhile. Okay, so all I'm doing is just letting this edge run along there and trying to keep it fairly even. So I'm just using my fingers to do that. And I'm just letting it feel. You can see that it looks like it's not actually against the fold, but it's because of the nap sticks out here. So this is actually running right along the fold. Okay, and I'm still using the black thread because I wanted you guys to be able to see it a little bit better. Okay. Okay. So you put that, you take it out.
No backstitch.
No, well, I didn't this time.
Okay.
Yeah, normally you would. Good catch. Okay, so now I just top stitched it all the way along here. If I did this in a green, you would never really notice, but you can see the black. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. I'll do the same thing. Okay, so I want my nap to come out. I've got my Wonder Tape on there. So one of the things that I do when I'm doing this sort of thing is that I will mark my zipper on both sides. So I would mark like here and here, that's where I want the edge to be. And so I would usually measure it. So if I wanted it to be like a 9-inch zipper, I would have a 12-inch zipper, but I would mark the 9 inches. Okay, and that way I can get these pieces in there evenly, because that's important. Otherwise your zipper ends up wonky. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Ooh, come on. I'm going to put that back, and now I'm going to flip this over and put it right along that edge again. Okay. And I'm just trying to match it up to the edge of the zipper. Get it on there, smush it on, and then flip it over. And like you saw, if I open up this zipper, it's a lot easier to do the like little clippy parts. Okay, so we're going to do this one more time. You guys can watch and learn. Okay, then we'll do it another way, which is another super easy way of doing it. Okay, so this will work with the regular Cuddle and the Luxe Cuddle. This is definitely the way that I did it for the Luxe Cuddle. So for this one here, this is exactly how I did it. Okay, so I put those, you can see my little Wonder Tape falling out here. All right, I just flipped it over and then top stitched this down. You can just barely see the top stitch, but you can see there's the exposed zipper. And that's what helps keep the nap from getting in there. Okay, ta-da. All right, so this is the way that I did it on the Luxe. Okay, all right, ready? So now what I want to do, I still want to start this up here with my zipper pull in the way. So I'm going to flip this around, but what that means is now I have to switch where my needle is, because my needle is 3 millimeters to the right and I need it to be 3 millimeters to the left. So we're going to switch that around. So don't forget that part because that's important. All right, we're going to switch that. There we go. Okay. Now we're doing the same thing. I have it at a 3 stitch length right now, and that seems to be just fine.
Are we still using the knit needle?
Yep.
The stretch needle?
Yep, 90-14. Yep.
Got it.
Yep, exactly, because the bulk of what we're sewing over here is a knit, and we want it to stitch through that just fine, and not skip stitches. So if you don't know, the reason we use a stretch needle is, one, it's a stretch fabric, but if you don't, what happens is you get skip stitches. So getting skip stitches on here would stink, because then you have to go back and fix it, and that's not fun. So there you go. Caught the zipper. Always make sure that you caught the zipper, because sometimes that happens. Okay, so there it is on that side, and we'll flip that over, and then we'll zip this baby up. Ta-da! Okay. Not hard at all, right? And seriously, the thing that wins it is the Wonder Tape. Like, honest to goodness, best thing ever. Okay. It was funny. I think I was telling you about this the other day. That when I discovered Wonder Tape, it was years ago, and I've always been somebody who didn't really sew. I didn't have other people I knew who sewed, and I found a new store in Portland called Modern Domestic, and they had just opened at that point. This is, I don't even know, a decade ago now or so, and I went in, they had this, I bought a zipper, and they were like, oh, did you need some Wonder Tape? And I was like, what the heck is Wonder Tape? And so anyway, they showed it to me, and I bought it, and I have been a believer ever since. It was like a game changer in trying to figure out how the heck do I put zippers in so that it's not as hard. Yeah, game changer. So find Wonder Tape, buy it. Usually most fabric stores have it, but it's one of those things that if you don't know what you do with it. it just sits there. Okay, so I've just found my nap using the Sparkle Cuddle because it's super fun. Okay, so my nap is running this direction. Okay, and I've just got them together, and I'm just going to pin them a little bit. Okay. All right.
Is there any comparison between fusible tape and
yeah, this is just
of using the fusible tape versus the Wonder Tape?
Yeah, it's just it's a double-sided fusible. So with the fusible, if you mean like the iron-on kind, it's just
something which.
Oh, stitch. Yeah, stitch witchery.
Yeah, stitch
That's stitch witchery. You could get the 1/4 inch, but then you would have to get something to put over the top. I don't know if stitch witchery has any that has a paper backed. The kind I've had has just been the fusible web that you would use like for hems and that sort of thing. So I feel like that would be a lot of maneuvering of trying to get it to iron on to both the zipper and the fabric at the same time in the exact right spot. That seems more hassle than it's worth, unless they have a paper-backed version. And then it would work better, but then I still have to iron the fabric, and this is really nice because it's just sticky, so I just stick it down and it's there. So yes, it's really, like, honestly, it's my favorite product for this. I use it for all sorts of things like that. It's great for pockets and appliques and stuff too. Okay, all right, so now what I'm going to do...
Oh, why do you pin in 2 rows?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Game on.
So I pinned it in 2 rows to hold it better because that's the way I do it. So I'm going to come along here and I'm going to stitch. And what happens, I need to change it to a straight stitch down the middle. Okay, changing all these things all the time. So we're going to stick this back in the middle. You can see I switched my foot back. I switched it to an open toe only so you guys can see it. Normally I would use the closed toe foot for this. Just because it'll hold a little better. When I use the open toe, it tends to move a little bit more, which is also why I double pinned it, because I really want this to hold in place. You can see I don't really care if the sides are perfectly matched. Yeah, it's fine, it's close enough, okay? What I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna bump this up to a 4 stitch length because I'm just basting it, okay? And I'm just gonna sew along here, and I'm keeping it way over here at a 5/8. Okay, so we're gonna see if, oh, I did. I made it right past that pin. Okay, not sure I'm gonna make it past that one. It's like a game every time.
Pin chicken.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm like, how close can I get? Pretty darn. Okay, so this is something, so if I can, I will leave these pins in because really, if I'm not gonna sew over it, they can stay in there for quite a while until I have to take them out. Because the more pins I have in there, the less it's gonna move. Okay, so you can see like that didn't move at all while I sewed it. That's what that double row of pinning does. Okay, so now take out the one pin that was left. Now I've got this. Okay, so if you are a garment maker, you've totally done this before. And normally what you would do is you would sew this onto one side, you would sew it onto the, like sew it again over here, and then you flip it over here and you top stitch it from the front. We're gonna actually just lay this on here and stitch it down because I like to make things as easy as possible, apparently. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I have to be careful with this one because I've cut the zipper end off. So the last thing I want to do is unzip it so that it comes right off the end. Not that I've ever done that this week. Okay, so I'm just going to put the Wonder Tape on there. It's way longer than I need, and that's okay. Okay.
And why is it that you make the zipper longer than where you're going to end up? So
that darn zipper pull will stay out of my way. Because the zipper pulls, as you can see, it totally distorts. Okay, so it just like wants to do dumb things here, and I can't keep it straight, which is really frustrating. So if I can get it so that it goes past the end of where I need to sew, I don't have to fight my way around it. So I'm just going to bring it up to the top. You see it makes it nice and flat here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to smush this on there real nice and tight. Okay, get it to stick real well. Okay, I'm going to unzip it. Oh, I did it. All right, so let's see if I can put the zipper pull back on. This is not my favorite thing, so you guys are going to watch this, and we'll see if I can do it. Okay, so this is...
300 people that are watching.
Ah, great. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to put my little reading glasses on so I can see a little bit better. So the way that these zippers work when you get, like, you have to put a zipper pull on, and it doesn't always work super easily, so I'm going to try. And then I'm going to find, where's my safety pin? So I can put this baby on there as soon as I'm done. Okay. So what I did is I slid it up one side. Okay, I just fed it into the bottom there. This is the tricky part, is that you have to get this other side to come on. Okay, so I've got this on there. And then I'm going to shove this one in there. Okay, this is where it gets funky, is I got to hold both these down and try to work this up. Oh, okay, we're going to do this a few times because it always takes me a little bit. But see, that's more real, right, than the people who just, like, do it. And you're like, oh, I can't ever get it to work like that. I can't ever get it to work first. Okay, if somebody has some great insight on making these work, that'd be great. I would love it. Come on. Oh, my fingers are so sticky from the Wonder Tape. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm gonna try it a couple of times, see if I can get it to work. I did the black one a bunch of times. This one doesn't, it's because my fingers, it keeps sticking to my fingers. Why don't I have a sink right here? Look at all this sticky on my fingers, you guys. Well, the zipper just wants to stick to my finger. Okay. Try it one more time here. What are they telling me? They tell me they know their pain.
You need to put a pin in the end.
Ha! I did it. Okay. That would work too, to put a pin here and then hold it? Or they should have put a pin before. I should have put a pin before.
Yeah.
100%.
I think that.
100% I should have. And yeah, no, if I were smart at all, I would have done that. But you know what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stick a pin right here. And then that can't go past it. All right, so there we go. So now I got it on there. You saw it. It worked. I even have it on video. Proof that I could do it. Yes. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to unzip this again. Not off the end. Okay. And then I'm going to take this. I'm going to open that back up. And now what I'm going to do is I want this to go so that the teeth are right along the edge. Right along my seam. Okay. Ta-da. Okay. And then I'm going to zip this up. Okay, and so then I can get it, it's just barely past there, but I can get it just past the end of it. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to make sure that this gets on there nice and flat. Okay, so I'm going to pull this Cuddle, make sure that it's nice and flat there. Okay. Give it a little feel. Okay. So now, on this side, I can do my top stitching and just stitch down here and then stitch back up. All right, so let's give it a try. See if this works. It worked yesterday, just like the zipper pull. Okay. Yeah, all the black zippers that I did on those samples all came on a roll that I had to feed that zipper thing on. So luckily I've had a little bit of practice. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in just a little bit. And what I'm going to do, because I didn't get that quite off the end as far as I wanted it to, I was so distracted by the pull thing. So now what I need to do is I need to move this over again. So this is going to run in my seam, but I'm going to shift this over. I could do it 3.5. See if I can get it. Can I do it anymore? Nope. 3.5 is as far as it goes. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to just run it right along the edge here. I want to see if this is going to work. And then I'll show you the other way that I did it, down the other side, because I think this will work. Because this will do a narrower one. See if it caught it. Okay, so this catches really close. So this is what I kind of wanted to see, is if it would work. This will catch it. It'll be fine because it didn't catch the teeth. The way that I did it on the other one was I used my other foot. Sorry, didn't mean to bump you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to put that foot back on here. And I'm going to run that right down this side. Okay, this is crazy because this is black thread. Like, I don't know where the thread is. Supposedly, it's in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my needle back to the center position. Okay, so my needle is in the middle, and what I'm doing is I'm looking, this is the 1/4 inch line of my foot. Okay, so I'm going to line that up on the line that I sewed, that center seam. I'm just going to take it nice and slow, and I'm going to keep this sort of spread and try to get it so that it sews nice and flat. Okay, you can see it's catching just at the edge of that Wonder Tape, which is great. That's what we want. The nice thing about this kind being the Washaway, because we may get to see this, is that sometimes it'll show underneath there. Okay, let's see if we can get this to start going. Let's see if I can pull that loose. Too many tails. See if we can pop this guy down there. Wait. One of the nice things about being a polyester thread is I actually am, like you can see I'm tugging on this pretty darn hard. And it doesn't pop, so it will work itself out a little bit better than a cotton would at this. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm pulling that middle, there it went, that middle seam. Usually that's a terrible sound, and I don't like the sound of that popping, but right now I'm like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Okay, let's see if I can get, pull all these basting threads. There we go. Come on, my poor little sticky fingers. There we go. All right, so we're going to pull out all of that basting stitching down the middle, and then you can see, ta-da! Okay, so this is the side that was a little close. You could see it just barely lets it in. This side is a little bit bigger, and probably what I would want to do, I don't see the wash or the Wonder Tape coming up, but sometimes it'll be poking out underneath here and you'll see just a little bit of it. That's the nice thing about the Washaway version, is that when you wash this, it will totally disappear. Okay, so that's how that zipper works. All right, I got a little bit more basting to rip out down there, but that's how that is. All right, so I would definitely recommend more with the 1/4 inch. Thanks for trying that with me. So the stitch in the ditch foot for this version, okay, so then we can run it along the edge. The regular foot, just a regular walking foot for here. So most of the walking feet that you would get for like your Bernina or anything, it will actually have a stitch in the ditch bar. It'll have a different sole plate that goes on there that'll help you do this version. Okay? All right, that makes sense? That was a lot, that zipper pull thing. Okay. But we did it. We did it. Okay, so I had one more. So we're going to try it with the Luxe Cuddle. Now I have to find my other zipper. I thought I had 2 white zippers. Oh no, here it is. Okay. I had to go through all of my zippers basically. And unfortunately I have a lot of metal teeth zippers, which I wouldn't use for this. Mostly because it just feels very conflicting to use like a rough metal zipper in soft cuddle. Like, I'm not sure why I would want the zipper teeth to show. I don't know, not in this. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my zipper pull. Any other questions? We're doing all right? Okay, you guys are sharing, talking. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, thanks for struggling along with me, guys. This is the way real sewing is that sometimes it works and sometimes it's a little bit off. Okay, so I've got myself a zipper. I've got Luxe Cuddle, so we're going to work through it with that because it does behave slightly differently, and mostly it's just that it's kind of, It's a little bit more blind sewing, so you're kind of just hoping that it works. So I'm kind of wondering, I did it with the exposed zipper. I think that we can try it and see if it works the way that we just did that last one, okay? We'll see if I can do it with the Luxe Cuddle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pet it. We've talked before about Luxe Cuddle not really being able to tell sometimes which way the nap is going. So if you look at this, like the nap is going all the different directions, right? But if I pet it, I can sort of feel the difference between it. If I pet up, it sort of ruffles a little bit. So petting this way, so here I can feel it go smooth. This way it kind of pushes those up. So there'll be some areas that might be a little bit smoother going that direction, but for the most part, it just needs to go this direction. So this is the way my nap is, all right? One of the things too that I was gonna tell you is when you're doing this, when you're doing the zippers in the Luxe Cuddle, I found it easier if I cut it with a rotary cutter because it gave me a nice hard edge instead of with the blade, because I actually don't want all of that extra fuzz to come off into the, off the edge here. Let me see if, I think all three of these, or all four sides are, oh, this one isn't. So this one has, so here, this is an example. So this one I cut with the blade, so I still have some nap that comes up this direction. This becomes a pain in the rear when I'm dealing with a zipper. So it's easier for me to just cut off the side and have the nap be a little bit weird because this is all going to be turned in, okay? So a lot of times I'm really like, use the blade, use the blade, use the blade. But this is one that you're actually going to, you know, use the rotary cutter because you'll want this clean edge. So let's try this again. We'll see how this works. Okay. Do a little pinning. And like I said, we're just going to try it that way that it like sort of hides the zipper. Because one of the things I want to try is to see how much the nap will get in it. So that was sort of the reason I did it on the other ones where I did it so the exposed zipper, so the nap wouldn't get in it as much. If you were having trouble with the nap getting into it, so for example on this one here, this one I pushed it over as I sewed it so that it kind of smushed it here. Okay, so you can see it's kind of caught down. If you were having trouble here, you would be welcome to kind of cut this off. And I'll show you how I do that because I definitely will do that sometimes, that I'll just
give it a little haircut.
Give it a little haircut. Just to give it a little trim here. And you're like, oh, okay, look. And it totally will be fine. Okay, and it won't look weird if you did that in the first little bit of this. And that helps keep that nap out of your way. So don't be afraid to do that. What I do is I just leave a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch or something of the nap so that it kind of covers and you don't see the backing still, but then it gets the fuzz out of your way. Okay. All right, so now we're going to sew it again. I'm going to do that with a 5/8 inch seam allowance again with a 4 stitch length, so it's a nice big basting stitch. Hopefully it'll pull out a little nicer this time. Okay. I'm just going to sew it right along here. Okay, because if you were doing a pillow, I would probably do a pillow out of a Luxe Cuddle I did way before I did one out of a regular cuddle, because the Luxe Cuddles are just so amazing and such a great choice for throw pillows, especially because they're washable. So if you've got littles in your house, this is the way to go. Okay. So at this point, you can see I've got lots of nap here. This would be a place that if you wanted to, you could trim it. I'm not going to. We're just going to try our best. And I'm just pressing this so that I can get it to sort of stay open how I want it to. And one of the things too is when you've seen whenever I do this, I put the Wonder Tape on the scissors. I put it on the zipper. My brain sometimes. I put it on the zipper and not the fabric. Okay, because it's way easier to control it on here than it is on that fluffy stuff. Okay, as wonderful as it is, sometimes we got to pick and choose. And I'm going to choose the zipper to put the Wonder Tape on. Okay, so put down one side, put it down the other. Okay. And this stuff, I will tell you, if you don't do a lot of zippers, get the smaller roll. If you do a lot, get the big roll. If you let it sit for too terribly long, it gets kind of funky. And I only found that out because I had it in a bag that had probably been sitting for like 2 years. And then the Wonder Tape didn't work as well. That's kind of way any adhesive is. All right. So now this wants to pull up, so I'm just going to grab it with my fingernail. All the sticky on me. Pull this up. It's almost like we're getting basting spray. How funky my fingernails are getting. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. Unzip it. I can get it past that little hump in it. Okay, and now I'm going to try to get these teeth to line up with that center. This is totally going to be by feel. Okay, an approximate edge. Okay, feels about right. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll pull off the Wonder Tape. I'm going to zip this guy up. I probably should have zipped before I pulled the tape off. Pull that straight. Okay, get that on here just like the other. So you can see it barely hangs off the edge, and I think it's because the edge of the teeth are about a ½ inch. So from here to here, I think it's about a ½ inch, and then I have a little bit more because I tried to do about a 5/8. Okay, so I did it again with the stupid zipper. I want to reposition it, now I can't. So I put the zipper pull. You remember how I told you? So get them longer. I generally do them like at least 3 or 4 inches longer than what I had. So we're going to sew from this end. Okay, so we'll sew it toward the zipper pull. There we go. Okay, so now we get the extra funky thing. We're like, where is the center line? Okay, so I have to do a little feely here, and I can feel it. So even though there's a huge zipper under here, well, maybe not huge, but there's a zipper under here, it is really hard to see, and I can't even hardly feel it. So I'm just gonna sew right along here. So I'm like, you can see I got my finger here because I'm just feeling it and sort of like making sure it aims for that little line on my foot. Okay. Okay, and now here's the zipper pull, so it's going to have to kind of, yep, get stuck right there. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to move this over so that I can again sew toward my zipper pull. There we go. Okay, but I'm going to line up that line, if I can feel it again, on that side of the foot. Okay, so now I've got this little, here's my little seam. You can barely see it, okay, but I can feel it and I'm aiming it toward that line. Okay, the nice thing about Cuddle, we've talked about this lots of times, is just the fact that it's just so darn forgiving. So if it's, you know, it's not quite straight, not quite even, nobody's gonna care. Can you back the camera up just the tiniest? Thanks. You guys were getting a better view than I was. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to cut the thread there, pull that out. Okay. All right, so now we get to do the thing again where I try to cut this. So let me see if I can find, here's my blade. Okay, and you can see I'm not cutting it, I'm just kind of using it to grab it because I have a hard time grabbing it. Let's see if I can get it to pull now. Oh, there we go. See, because if I cut that, then I have to go and get all of those little bits out, and I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Okay, so now we've got the zipper sewn in there. Let's see if we can get it to unzip, even with all this fluff. Look at that! It totally worked. Ta-da! Okay. See if I can zip it back up. Oh, it caught there just a little bit, so we'll have to be careful on the way up, which is usually the way that goes. I have to zip it from this side. Okay. There we go. I can keep it so my fingers. So if I bend it just a little bit, it gets the hair, you know, the nap away from the zipper. Okay. So then if this were actually like, you know, the bottom of a thing that I was going to do, like a pillow, I don't know where my stiletto is. I've been using it and I moved it. I would just come along here and I would fluff up all of this. Okay, right out of that seam that I just sewed down, because it's not going to make any difference on the finish. But now this would be the bottom of my little pillow. Okay, totally nice, but it makes it so now this pillow, I could take it out and I could wash that. Okay, look at that. It totally worked. Yay! I like it when things work. So that's how I did that. So I was going to show you one more thing. Let me see if I can find it. You can come around the front. Tomorrow we're going to talk about, on fabric.com, we're going to talk about how to make a pillow. So I'm going to just hand sew that baby shut, but now you know how to do it. Oh, I was going to bring the pillow up from downstairs. That's what I was going to do.
That's an interesting question. Could
yeah.
you have sewn that from the back side so that you could see the zipper?
I don't see why not. Yeah, I'm sure that you could have. Let me see how it feels under the machine, because sometimes that's it, is like, because the way that and this is a great question, because the way that the Cuddle works is it sort of smushes around the zipper, and so it feeds through fine. So let me see how that is. And this is a nice, this is a nylon zipper, and so it's actually not very thick right here. If you were using a metal zipper, it would be much thicker. Oops, I want to push this here. So I would do the same thing and run this line against the teeth, right? And that actually, yeah. It's feeding through fine. I would definitely try it on your machine and see this. It fed through just fine, which is great, because sometimes it won't work as nicely. But give it a shot on your machine and see which one is easier, because yeah, this I can actually see where I'm going and not blind sew so much. Although I'm really happy with, look at how straight it was compared to like what I did blind sewing. I did pretty well. Very excited about that. Yeah, that was a great question. I was going to show you on this one. This is the side that we're going to do tomorrow. And this is with the faux fur. So faux fur is different than Luxe Cuddle. So these are Luxe Cuddles, these two here. Okay, these are Luxe Cuddles. These two are furs. All right, so these work differently. The biggest thing is you'll notice that the backing is different. Okay, so this is like a coarser backing. This is a nice lighter backing. You can, like, the difference in the feel, I wish you could feel the difference, because this is definitely, like, it's a nice faux fur, but faux furs are always coarser on the back because they're thicker. And this is a nice soft one. Here's the backing on this one. It's just a different kind of backing, and you can definitely feel the difference. The biggest difference that's important for you to realize is faux fur is not machine washable. Okay, Luxe Cuddle is machine washable, machine dryable. Faux fur is not. So if you want to make your pillows out of the faux fur, you're going to have to dry clean them when you're done. Like, if they get dirty, you got to dry clean them. If you make them out of Luxe, then you just throw them in the wash. Okay, so there are perks. Also, the faux fur is amazing and it's really beautiful. So I have a couple other samples, like we're going to talk about these, like I said, tomorrow at the fabric.com thing. But this is one of my favorites. I love this stuff, and that's a version of this one. It's like a slightly different version of it, and I love this stuff. It's super fun. It just has like a texture that you can't get with the Luxe Cuddle. So they all have their own purpose. This is one that the Luxe, or the fur, was cut with a rotary cutter, and you can see what it does. But you can see how much nap is in this, and that's a huge difference with the Luxe Cuddle versus the faux fur, as these are just thicker and more luxurious. Okay, so we'll talk more about those tomorrow. You can join us. But this is one that I did on the faux fur. So see if you can zoom in. And this is one I did exposed. This one is just a raw edge. Okay, so this is just the raw edge. I did a little serging on it to try to flatten it down just a little bit. It didn't make that big of a difference, so I wouldn't do it again. And then I just zigzagged it down as an exposed zipper. Okay, so that one I did just a little bit differently. Well, I guess maybe a lot differently. And that works totally fine, because then what happens is that kind of, whoops, flows right over the zipper at the bottom. Okay, so super great. And that's how you would do it on the faux fur, is just do it exposed. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I think that might be everything I wanted to tell you guys. So one of the things too, so like when we were talking at the beginning is trying to pick, so what is your project? What's the purpose of the zipper? So like something, if you were going to do like a hoodie or a bomber jacket, that sort of thing, you would choose a different zipper. You would choose a separating zipper probably, and you would want it to be so that the teeth were probably showing. And then if you were doing a zipper, or for a throw pillow, you would do it at the bottom. So that also changes how you put the zipper in. So remember that, because the length of the fabric has no stretch. The width of the fabric has the stretch. So if I'm putting in the zipper this direction, it's going to be a little bit different than if I'm putting it in lengthwise. Okay. All right. So I guess Ellen's going to send me a winner probably. So if you shared it, you'll be entered in to win. We also are doing a huge contest, and I don't think we've given that away yet. That is just a huge prize package of, I don't even know what it was, like $2,500 worth of stuff. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot of stuff. Basically, it'll set you up in a sewing room beautifully. And so we're doing that for National Sewing Month, and that's with a bunch of our vendor partners. So Fairfield, that I did the pillows forms with, and a bunch of other people have given us prizes to give away for that. So it's super exciting. The winner we have is Crystal FB. So you are the winner. We will figure out a prize for you. I promise not to just send you squares of Cuddle and a piece of zipper. We'll do something a little bit more for you. If you will email us or message us in Facebook, and just send us a message, then I'll get a hold of you, or Ellen will get a hold of you, and we'll send you a prize package. Otherwise, you can join us tomorrow at fabric.com on their Facebook page. We'll be doing the live on doing throw pillows. I'm going to show you how to get rid of those little dog ears on your pillows and how you can seam them up really nicely. So we're going to do that. And then we'll be back next week. And if I remember correctly, we're doing scrunchies next week. So little hair scrunchies out of the Cuddle. And I'm using some seal for that. So if you've been wanting to work with seal at all, it's one of the things I'm going to use, along with some others, because, you know, you got to make a variety, right? So anyway, we'll be back next week. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for joining us for Sew Together Tuesday. Join us on the I Love Cuddle group as well. And you can find all of our videos on YouTube. So until next week, happy sewing. Bye.